Right. Good morning, everyone. We are live. This is episode 197. Our guests today are Ollie, or Olib.
Hello.
Wave to the nice people. And Alex.
Hi.
You may notice Chill's absence. He will be joining us. He is just running late. So we're going to do some weird stuff with the recording. We're going to start sort of partway through and record until Chill joins us. Probably finish the news. Once Chill is here, we'll go back and do the intro and our weeks and stuff like that. So let me just tweet out that we're going, and then we'll actually start the proper part of the show. Like I said, guys, just keep on recording.
Yep.
Tweeting now via OotiniCast. Yeah, I'm actually feeling a bit unwell, so if we have to just break off for some reason, yeah, I'm not sure what we'll do then, but we'll work that out if it happens. Yeah, I should be okay for this at least. All right. Okay. Tweeted. You retweeted. Thank you, Ollie.
Welcome. I should retweet it.
Nah, it's up to you. Alright, it's kind of weird, sort of launching into it midway. But let's do this. Yeah. Alright. Going in a few seconds, and it'll let me just leave a pause of silence, and then we'll go from there. Alright, we have 2 tips this week. The first is from Sanu of our own Utini Knights and Utini Rage Guilds. His tip is, the common glitch with the Rishi binocular dailies occurs when, even with a direct line of sight from the alert area, that is in the area on the minimap where you're supposed to be able to do it from, you can't click your binoculars on the main screen. That is the icon in the on-screen mission list. Even logging out and in again will not help. Now, the solution to this is, when this happens, use the binoculars that appears in your inventory, that is in your mission items tab on your inventory, and that will work just fine. Apparently he gets this problem himself a couple of times a week, and he hears people in general chat asking about it even more often than that. So that is a solution. Use your macro binoculars in the mission items tab in your inventory. Kind of cool. If you're doing the Rishi dailies, which I'm not sure why you would once you got to Legend with them, but whatever. The second tip is from our old friend Ivalon, also known as HK Chubbs. After hearing Chill talk about the Rishi Datacrons last week, as well as listening to a great recent episode of the SWOTOR Escape podcast, that's with Max and Seema on the subject, I decided to finally get them for myself. I ran into and resolved several of the issues that players have been having when trying to get the Datacrons. The Dolphy guide, which many are using and referring to, is not entirely clear. One of the early steps is to consume the 3 data packets and interact with the crystal skull on Slave Island. Dolphy doesn't mention that the buffs from the data packets only last for 2 hours. Unfortunately, when you get to that skull, it may be in an activated state, due to the fact that someone else has already activated it, and it's not clickable. Currently, the skull can remain in this state for hours. We all know how hard it is to get the data packets in the first place, so it's quite frustrating to get this far and have the buffs time out before you can click the skull. It turns out that this can also happen with later steps. This is all due to a bug in which the skulls can apparently only be clicked 1 time on each instance by the first person who gets there once a new instance opens up. Once a new instance spawns, the first person to get to each of the crystal skulls will be the only person who can click on them, assuming they've consumed the 3 data packets. The way I was able to click on everything was by waiting for a new instance to appear and then immediately transferring to that instance and rushing through the process before someone else could. Because of this, do not consume the data packets until you are on a fresh instance and can see that the first crystal skull is not already activated. Lastly, as Chill mentioned, once the Datacrons are open, they will stay that way for quite some time. Be sure to position all of your level 55 characters, all of your level 55 plus characters, near the Datacron rock before you complete the activation so you can quickly switch through them. I actually haven't run through this myself. Every time I've got them is because someone else has already opened them. So
Yeah.
Either of you guys done it? The old-fashioned one?
I tried to do it, but I was getting the first data packet, and then someone else came up and he got credited for the kill and took my data packet. This was before it became a mission item. It was still a gray
Yeah.
item. So, and I was just
Okay.
like, I can't be bothered to wait anymore.
I'm so far
Can't blame
behind
you.
on data grants. I've not even done my cap yet, but it's on the list.
Oh, fair enough. No worries. Anyway, the winner this week is Ivalon, who wasn't chosen by random allotment because Sandwich disqualified himself from the prize. So congratulations, Ivalon. You'll be receiving a Masters pack, Masters Shadow pack from us, and a Torn Fawn or M8R3 Droid pet code, courtesy of Bioware. If you'd like to win the same, send your tips in by next Wednesday to OotiniCast@gmail.com, and we'll see what happens. All right, that will bring us to the holo feed, the news, courtesy of me. I get Chill to clean that up. Firstly, on the community team, welcome to their third member, joining Tate Watson and Eric Musco, Nick Avola. I'll link to his introductory post. We just found out about him today, so haven't seen much yet. But what he's been saying is he's apparently an ex-intelligence analyst working for someone, which is kind of the perfect job when you think about it, perfect work experience, because he has to take information from diverse sources and try to make sense of it. So apparently that's going to be part of his job. He will be doing the kind of thing that Hillary did previously, which was listen to podcasts, look all through the forums, Reddit, whatever, and consolidate all that information and pass it on to the rest of the community team and the developers. So yeah, it sounds like he's a solid gamer. Unclear whether he's played much SWTOR before, so he may have a lot more of the game to discover for himself. But he's a bit of a PvPer. Sounds great. Great addition to the team. You can follow him on Twitter using @Avola_SWTOR. That's AVOLA_SWTOR. So yeah, welcome, Nick. Yeah, apparently Tate and Eric saw quite a lot of merit in his intelligence background, though he reckons it was because of his charm and good looks. So, well, we'll see. And having a new hand on the community team, according to him, will free up some bandwidth for more feedback for other stuff. So hopefully we'll be hearing more from everyone as the actual workload is now spread between the three of them. Now they're back to 3 since saying goodbye to Courtney Woods, who is now a writer at BioWare. All right, so yeah, welcome, Nick. Next, game update 3.1.2. This is the last in-between update before game update 3.2. 3.1.2 will be coming on the 7th of April. Now, it looks like there's not a lot in it besides bug fixes. However, those do include the Agree Light pillar, the blue one, the deco, will be fixed, along with the Group Finder Daily reward. There was an issue with that. Also, it turned out that there was a problem with expanding your guild ship. Like, you have to pay a whole ton of credits, as well as having a number of the encryptions, and it was only working if the encryptions were in the first tab in your guild bank. If there were any others, it would fail. So the workaround was stick them in the first tab, but it will be fixed properly with 3.1.2. And the only other thing is Bright Blue Eyes in your appearance designer is back. Make it, in their words, triumphant return. So awesome.
I gotta buy myself those.
Just yesterday, the Masters Shadow Pack was added to the cartel market. Dolphy has her usual preview of it. All kinds of stuff, including a bunch of outfits that are, well, your mileage may vary depending on your taste. However, a few things I did see. The Prophet's Star Forged lightsaber is kind of cool. It's got this spinning top bit on the hilt. So yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff with spinning bits now, for better or for worse. There's a new mount, the MSM JT2 jetpack. There've been rumors of this coming, and it's kind of cool. You mount up wearing the jetpack, and yes, it is just a jetpack, and when you're just standing still, you are hovering above the ground, and then when you fly, it's just being propelled by the jetpack. It's pretty cool.
Similar to rocket boots, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Looks pretty awesome, especially for a bounty hunter.
Indeed. So you can be, if you're a Shea Vizsla wannabe, it's perfect. Now, if you do put you can actually get your jetpack and mount it as a deco in your stronghold. And if you do so, it has a nice little mounting rack. So it's not just floating there, it is actually sort of hung up. It's kind of cool. Someone pointed that out on Reddit. Now, there's also a new mount, an animal mount, a Marshwood Varanticus, which looks an awful lot like a Rancor, but isn't. It's certainly of the same size, though, and that will be in the pack. So they're going for the big animal mounts, it would seem. There's a kind of cool pet, the Arctic Thranta. Thranta being those flying mounts that you see on Alderaan from some of the taxi points. So that's quite a nice one. A lot of the pets do tend towards the ugly, particularly the animal mounts, but that one's actually pretty good. And finally, there's a customization for Lord Scourge. Lord Scourge, customization 9, and he's got dreadlocks.
I can't stand that. I like my normal Lord Scourge.
Yeah, a lot of the customizations really make them all look kind of bizarre, but and that one, yeah, it'll appeal to some people.
HK's got a couple of good ones, but as a whole, they're not that great, are they?
Yeah. Was there a camo one for HK? I think I picked that up on Rishi.
That was from the Yavin reputation vendor, I think.
There you go.
The Jungle
yes.
HK.
Yep, that's the one. I did get that for my HK, and it looks pretty good. Also, there is the SOA regen item for those of us who remember Eternity Vault, the first operation, back in vanilla SWTOR. And you get 3 of the pillars, or 3 of the pylons that you get in the fight, and you're sort of lifted up in this energy sphere. It's pretty good. And a couple of emotes that I wanted to mention. Angry Dance. There's like 3 variants of it, so you just get a random one each time you do it. It's pretty amazing. And the Worthy emote, where you've got someone saying, "I am not worthy." Yeah, I can see plenty of uses for that. So there you go, Charlie, for your Kranatoka's mount opening videos, or pack opening videos. Hopefully you'll get that one, because that will be useful in your future intros, I suspect. All right, but I haven't really buried the lead, or only a little bit. On Friday, last week, we had the live stream that featured Michael Backus, lead designer. You know, he's only been the lead designer since October 2014. We think he may have replaced Jesse Sky, who is now a creative director for SWTOR at BioWare. So it looks like he got kicked upstairs, and now Michael Backus is in the lead designer role, and Eric Musco and the ever-cheerful Bruce McLean, senior producer. And yeah, so they were going to tell us about Game Update 3.2. This was basically covering the same information that was going to be at the snowed-in, cancelled Community Cantina in Boston in conjunction with PAX East. So Bruce started off, talked about the great response to Shadow of Revan, and how the embracing of story has been very well received, and that there are big things coming later this year, but they can't talk about that. Instead, what they told us about was Game Update 3.2, which now has a title, Rise of the Emperor. Yeah, so, well, if you'd finished Shadow of Revan, this was all fairly obvious about the direction they were going. So, no surprise there. Rise of the Emperor. It will be coming on 28 April, which is pretty much exactly as they predicted. That's 3 weeks from next Tuesday. So they are on track. So let's just read the intro. Unleashed from hiding on Yavin 4, the former Sith Emperor has struck the imperial world of Ziost. Using his immense power in the dark side of the Force, he's dominated the minds of the planet's martial forces, as well as an elite cadre of militaristic Jedi, and has set them against the populace, engaging in a bloody slaughter. Lana Beneko of Sith Intelligence and SIS agent Theron Shan are attempting to reach out to their Imperial and Republic allies respectively, with details on the quickly escalating crisis in the heart of the Empire. So that's pretty much the setup. They did run through the intro cinematics. Now, all of this was added to the PTS pretty much during the live stream, so it is on the PTS now. They did publish some patch notes as well, which we'll go through a bit later. So anyway, I'll get to that. So obviously they have added Ziost. So level 60 players who have completed the Shadow of Revan storyline can now join in the fight against the former Sith Emperor. There's a key point. If you have not completed Shadow of Revan, as in defeated Revan, you cannot start the missions that will open up on Ziost. So just be aware of that. I copied over a character who hadn't actually finished the chain onto the PTS and he couldn't start it. I had to use a different character, which I eventually did.
Also, I saw that you have to be level 60. So if you're 59 and you've completed Shadow of Revan, you can't do it. You have to be level 60.
That's a good point, which means you can't actually do it for the XP either. So if you just wanted to finish it, it's a bit of a shame. Thanks for bringing that up. So anyway, they talked through Shadow of Revan. That is, what was different about it, what set it apart. He described it as a love letter to KOTOR fans, the last chapter in Revan's story. And it seems they brought the Emperor back to life. Or did they? Well, yeah, they did, as it turns out. Yeah, did the Emperor truly regain consciousness and come back? Very much so is the answer. It's not much of a spoiler because you find that out pretty much immediately. Oh, he did mention that cantinas, like this one, or like the one that is coming up with Star Wars Celebration, like the one they would have had at PAX East, are now more presentation-oriented, sort of. So I'll just mention that. Basically, it's like running through a slide pack, and they're more structured. In the information they present, previously they kind of just did a Q&A and just answered questions randomly, so they will have a bunch of information which they intend to present at each of the cantinas. Alright, so let's just start with Ziost, former capital of the Sith Empire, after they migrated from Korriban at one point. The first reference to it was on Tatooine during the Zerka World Arc. World Ricardo technology was used to expand to Ziost after they were defeated on Korriban. So Ziost is really powerful in the dark side of the Force. Trees are withered due to the dark side energy, hence the kind of aesthetic of the place. And the Emperor is strongly sensed on Ziost, because he's there, he's alive, he's regaining power, possessed most of the powerful people on the planet. Jedi and Sith. Jedi, you say? Empire-controlled planet? Anyway, that's sort of revealed why they're there in the story. And the way they described it, Michael Backus was actually talking about this on the live stream, the Emperor's sort of taken control of him as his hands. Now, it's not much of a spoiler, but when you're there, you can tell them because they're glowing red. They have this sort of red mist around them. Any particular NPC who is possessed by the Emperor has a red glow. Bit of a giveaway. Now, you'll find that when you're there, they're referring to the Emperor as Vitiate, which, if you listen to our spoiler cast, the second spoiler cast, was his original name. So he's actually no longer the Emperor as far as the Empire is concerned, or at least as far as Lana Beneko is concerned. He is now Vitiate, so that's who they're talking about. You will find that Theron Shan and Lana Beneko are both back in the story, very much taking center stage. And the place is actually, well, Ziost itself, there is a landing area, but most of the action takes place in the city of New Adasta, which is like this massive city built inside a huge cavern, sort of dark and dreary, and though otherwise just a normal city, just underground. So I've had a good run through it, and it's very cool. The visuals in this place are just amazing. Did either of you guys get on the PTS and have a look?
Unfortunately,
well, not yet.
Okay.
I've been on the PTS, but I just stopped at the outfit designer and didn't get as far as Ziost.
Oh yeah, we'll be talking about that for sure. But yeah. Alright, just some other mention is there is a new group of Jedi introduced as part of this story who just happen to be on Ziost for reasons. They're called the Sixth Line. And what they've done is they've added a sixth line to the Jedi Code. So the Jedi Code is: there is no emotion, there is peace; there is no ignorance, there is knowledge; there is no passion, there is serenity; there is no chaos, there is harmony; there is no death, there is the Force. And the sixth line that they've added is: there is no contemplation, there is only duty. They're led by someone named Master Sorrow, who was possessed by the Emperor. And yeah, she's actually got dreadlocks as well. There's a dreadlock theme going on here. And yeah, they're kind of a very, very, as noted, militaristic version of the Jedi, a kind of hit squad. You find out more of them as you play through the story. So anyway, the story for Ziost is that we're on the Emperor's home turf. Our job is to put him down and figure out more of his master plan.
Is there any evidence that the sixth line of the Jedi Code was added by the sixth line Jedi Force, or is it in the, like, I don't know, some Jedi textbooks or something? Did they add it?
As far as we can tell, they literally just made it up. There is no hint of this in lore at all, so this is brand new. As far as whether they stick around or not, don't know. Could become official, but yeah, they've came from nowhere as far as we can tell. Okay, so I have played through it. I played through the Republic side on my Sentinel. The difficulty of it, if you're in the 186 gear that you can buy with basic comms at the end of Yavin 4, once you're level 60, it's easy. There's nothing particularly challenging there. The storytelling is excellent, truly excellent. So this is BioWare storytelling at its best. So as I described earlier, they are very much embracing the fourth pillar, story, and they are telling a great story. But I've got to say, my initial reaction is that it? Because once you play through the story, you reach a point where you're actually blocked, and they have mentioned on the forums that that is intentional. It's unclear whether there is more that will be revealed as part of Game Update 3.2, or that's where 3.2 will end, and they'll add more story later. So, unclear. They are going to make it a daily area, so there will be dailies to do. Now, the reason for that, or the reason to do the dailies, is there's a bunch of achievements, if you're into that kind of thing. There's also a new currency called Ziost Memory Holographs that are bound to Legacy, and you spend them at the Ziost Equipment Vendor. Now, what that vendor sells, at least the one I looked at, item rating 190 gear. So compare that to the 186 stuff. But they're 190 blues, which require both Ziost memory holographs and basic accommodations to buy. It's all bind on pickup, none of it's bind to legacy. So it's like a kind of look. Everything like main hand, off hand, head, chest, hands, and legs cost 10 of the Ziost memory holographs, new currency each, plus 80 basic comms. Implants and earpieces are 15 of the Ziost things and 80 basic comms, which is kind of weird. And the wrist and waist are only 6 of the Ziost things and 40 basic comms. So if you want to buy that, you need to do the dailies on a regular basis. Each of the dailies I saw, the missions rewarded 4 basic comms and 2 Ziost memory accommodations. You have to do a fair number of them to accumulate those. Obviously, you can use basic comms from everywhere, and I'm sure we're all drowning in basic accommodations.
Did you say they had weapons as well, or is it just armor and implants and stuff?
There are definitely weapons, so main hands and off hands. It looked like a complete cover of everyone. They're all statted, so yeah, so everyone's covered.
Good.
Yeah, now, as I mentioned, once you get up to a certain point in the mission chain right now on the PTS, the mission's called The End of It All, you have to check the planetary status monitor, who's in the space station, and it gives you a message saying, sensors indicate continued evacuation protocols. Please check back later for updates. So, again, not sure if that's a placeholder, and or whether that's it for 3.2. Now,
Could just be they don't want you to see the final mission or something.
Could be. Don't want to spoil the story. Definitely possible. Or maybe they intend to release it in the updates post 3.2, like 3.2.1. They'll just sort of trickle it out as we go.
What they did with Forged Alliance, basically.
Yeah. Didn't they do that across the major updates?
Oh, yeah, true.
As opposed to the point update? Don't know. They've never done that before, so maybe not. Of course, we have no hint at all of what's going to be in 3.3 or whatever. However, let us just harken back to Bruce McLean's State of the Galaxy thing that he did a while ago. This was right at the beginning of the year, where he talked about what would be coming in Game Update 3.2, and basically they have ticked all the boxes. They said we get the outfit designer, which we have, and we'll be talking about shortly. And they said we'd be getting a new story arc on the planet Zyos. Takes us to the Imperial homeworld of Zyos, where we answer many of the questions posed by the cliffhanger at the end of the Shadow of Revan. Tick, yes. And the end of PvP Season 4 and the start of Season 5. Undoubtedly, that will happen as well. So they've basically given us everything they said they would, without any real surprises. So all good. Now remember, they are planning 2 major updates this year. 3.2 is not one of them. So we should expect something in summer. So around mid-year, say. So US summer, of course. And something at the end of the year. So even though it doesn't seem to be much here, the major update is coming. And they keep telling us how excited they are about it. The best is yet to come, etc. So, quote to that.
So cue wild speculation and hope.
Indeed. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say the whole Emperor thing is not resolved at the point at which you currently finish. So there's a lot more there, probably. As I mentioned, the storytelling is excellent. There's kind of plenty of use of cinematics, some action. I prefer more. The actual missions themselves, the design is really good, just in the use of various interactables in the environment, kind of semi-puzzles. It's easy enough once you work it out, but it's enough there to keep you busy for maybe 2 hours if you run really slowly. And that's it, per character. Yeah, I would have liked more myself. Alright, so let's talk about what else is in Game Update 3.2, because they did publish the patch notes. Firstly, and this is in roughly the order they covered it on the live stream, quality of life stuff for travel. Pause. Hello Chill. Chill is with us.
Hey, Chill.
Oh wow, that was delayed.
Hello.
So Chill, we're just running through the news. What I think we'll do, we have done the tips of the week. So if you could just intro the tips of the week. Or we'll do the intros later. We'll finish the news. We'll get you to do the intro. Then we'll run through feedback and call it good. That's all right. Just play along with the news for now. And then we'll,
All right.
pain asked to stitch together, I gotta say. But that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure you're recording.
Already am on Audacity.
All right.
Yeah, let me get up the show
I didn't
notes.
actually start recording until about halfway through the second tip because I was thrown out. I'm going to have to re-record my bit. Bugger. Anyway. All right. So Chill. Just let us know when you're pretty solid, and then I'll just keep going.
And we'll start from the top.
You just
More or
listen
less?
in. Just listen into the news. I'm up to travel quality of life.
Okay.
We'll do the intro once we're finished with the news.
Okay. All right.
And Chill, this is Ollie,
Hey,
Olib, and Alex.
Hi,
Hello.
Ollie. Hi, Alex.
All right.
And what page is this on?
Good question. Let's say
10, page 10.
Thank you. What Alex said.
All right. Thank you. Travel quality of life. Thank you. Found it.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. So next, we have some quality of life changes that they have introduced for us. Firstly, all flight points are automatically unlocked upon arrival on a planet.
Hmm.
Now, it was a bit unclear whether they were retrospectively adding this, but I assume they are. So you first turn up on a planet or a new character, you will automatically know all of the speeder points, which is fantastic, may I just say.
That is pretty dang cool. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of nice to have to explore there and travel there on foot or speeder the first time, and then unlock it, but wow. I'd say it'd be kind of cool if you could do this as kind of a legacy unlock. The first time you've unlocked it, you then unlock it legacy-wide, but they haven't done that. It's just first time you turn up on a planet, the entire speeder network is unlocked. Secondly, quick travel points those little console things with a circle with a line in it that you have to use once you to unlock them. So you can actually quick travel back there to any given point. They are now unlocked by proximity. That is, you turn up near them, they are automatically unlocked. You do not have to interact.
It's
Which is
amazing.
fantastic as well.
That is cool.
I wonder if you actually sort of take a speeder that sort of breezes through one of those points. Does that count? So you could like just travel all around, never stop, and unlock them. I don't know.
That'd
We'll
be
have to try
funny.
that out. Also, quick travel cooldown is now 6 minutes by default, and with the 3 levels of legacy reductions, each of those unlocks gives you 2 minutes. So if you have all 3, you're down to 0 cooldown quick travel. Now, at
That's
the moment,
funny.
if you've got all the unlocks, it's only 10 minutes. The default is half an hour. So yes, 6 minutes for everyone, and for
Wow.
us, 0 minutes if you've got all the unlocks. So, fantastic. 10 minutes doesn't seem like long, but sometimes just need that quick travel.
Now they just need to bring back 12 times XP because that's when it was really a pain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Indeed.
that's absolutely right.
Travel time, just terrible.
Yeah.
Times XP.
Exactly. And that was one of the reasons why they added. And if we ever get 12 times XP back, this will be very, very cool.
Back
Oh.
in my day, we didn't sprint to level 15 and we liked it.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Especially when we were doing Coruscant without sprint. That was so painful.
Yes, it
Anyway,
was.
yeah, that was the olden days. And you couldn't get a speeder until level 25. You remember that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, anyway, old days. Let's not talk about that. However, the other big thing, this is more utility than anything else, is the outfit designer. Now, you may have heard some speculation about someone, a former guest on the show, who happened to talk to some developers at PAX South, I think it was, and had thought he'd sort of drawn out this really elaborate explanation about what outfit designer really was. So no, nothing like that. It's pretty much exactly as we expected. It is very similar to Lotro's wardrobe system.
Okay.
Other games have got similar things. So the way it works is it's actually got an extremely elegant UI. It's just on your character sheet. There isn't something special you have to interact with. You can do it from anywhere. It's a series of numbers that appear down the right-hand side. You've got your actual armor that you're wearing. That's like the default. And then there's starting at 1 all the way up to 16. There are 16 different outfits that are unlockable. When you click on one of those, you bring up a little cut-down character model. Now, the first thing to note is that the only slots available are head, chest, hands, belt, legs, feet, and wrist. Basically, the things that affect your appearance. So no relics, no implants, no earpieces, because it doesn't matter what they are, it doesn't affect what you look like.
Right.
So that's the thing. What you do is you drag an item, one of those slots, onto the character model, and it stamps the item's appearance into the outfit. And it's like capturing an image of it. You could then delete the item or vendor it. It doesn't matter. Once it's captured in that outfit, it is there forever, or until you override it with something else. Now, what you do then is you choose whatever items you want to wear. There's an apply button. Wait, first you have to commit your changes, and every time you stamp an item, it will cost you 14,000 credits. These prices are not final, by the way. So building an outfit will cost you credits. It's not. That's just a one-off cost. You commit your changes. That's when you actually pay your credits. And then at the top there is an apply button, and that will switch to that outfit. It's fantastic. So you set up whatever look you want as an outfit. You apply it. That's what everyone will see when they look at you. You can then swap in whatever gear you like on your character with the actual stats in it, mods, whatever. Augments are only obviously needed on the real set. But the appearance, it's just visual, purely visual. Also, you don't have to fill in all the slots. If you've only done the chest piece in your outfit, whatever you're actually wearing on your character will appear. So you can only do some pieces, if that makes sense.
Right. Okay, so if you liked all the other pieces and just wanted a different chest piece, that would also change the colors and so on.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Now, at the moment, it does not include weapon or main hand or offhand. So you cannot change what they look like, but that is being considered as an option because people are suggesting that. You can't do this for your companions, which is a bit of a shame because people are saying, why can't we do this? It's the same kind of thing. And yeah, they may do that, but that won't be in 3.2. But they are thinking about that as well. All your options for hiding head slot, dark side corruption, and unify colors are all outfit specific. So you can actually hide the head slot or not hide the head slot depending on which outfit you wear. As I said, you can have up to 16. The first one is free. And then after that, there is a cost in credits or cartel coins. Now, it's unclear whether the credit cost is certainly per character. You have to unlock each one per character. I don't know if the cartel coins unlocks them across all your characters. But, yeah. Anyway, the cost in cartel coins is unknown because it's just one at the moment, and somehow I don't think that's accurate on the PTS.
We can only hope.
Now, the credit cost for all your outfits is the first 4 are 20k each, the next 5 are 40k, the next 5 after that are 80k, and the 16th slot is 200k. Why you would need 16 outfits? Completely beyond me, but who knows?
It's pure RP.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people talking about it on Jaren Colony. In the chat.
Of course. The cool thing is there is no cast time. It's instant. You can do it in combat, which I thought was particularly cool. You can just imagine PvP matches where someone is just flipping outfits.
Does it give you a button that you can put on your action bar?
That I couldn't see. It didn't look
I don't
like
think so.
it.
You just have to go to the character sheet.
Yeah, and then flip, and so it's a pain in the ass to do, but it's kind of cool too.
Technically feasible.
Yeah, so you could literally switch for each phase of a given boss fight or something if you wanted to. I can't imagine why, but it's all possible.
Try and trick people in PvP by constantly changing outfit.
Yeah. I don't know whether during a Warzone or something they disable this. I don't see why they would, given what you can do with moddable gear anyway. So the possibilities are endless. What else? What I'd really like to see is some sort of legacy wardrobe. This is something that Lotro has, where you can actually have just a wardrobe of item appearances and share them between all the characters on a given server. So if we could have like a wardrobe, which is sort of like a legacy bank, legacy storage, but for appearances, that'd be fantastic. Now, you could sort of do the same thing with bind to legacy items, but however, once you stamp an item's appearance, it does bind it to you. Hence why the ability to have a legacy wardrobe or something would be ideal. So yeah, so be aware of that. When you use when you stamp its appearance, add it to an outfit, it will bind it.
You can still swap legacy items, though, right? You can still put them in your bank and give them to another character.
Absolutely. And this is the one use that a lot of people I know, like in the Random Riders, are particularly interested in, because it means you can have a bind to legacy set of gear that you can switch between, like a Jug and a Guardian, and you are not limited to the really terrible appearance of the bind to legacy gear in this game. It's like they saved all the really... Yeah, anyway, you get the idea. You can make your character look like whatever you want, and then use the bind to legacy gear, which is all augmented and everything, and switch them between as you need to.
Very cool.
Yeah. Oh, this is just so much win. It's just, it's awesome. I'm really happy with the UI. I did play around with it somewhat extensively just to make sure I understood it. It's simple and elegant, so thumbs up. Anything else we want to mention?
I'm wondering if people have enough gear already in their boxes, and in their banks and stuff, or if this is actually going to drive up prices of certain, certain gear.
It's got to result in some people like going to grab stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
good question.
Yeah, this might bump up, the Gamorrean axes or, other unusual bits of kit.
Something for the Spoiler economics to cover, maybe?
Indeed. One thing to note at the moment, you do have to be able to wear an item to be able to equip it. However, there is an armor weight restriction. If you wear medium armor, you can't stamp the appearance of heavy armor into your outfits, but they are looking at that as well, and they will change it if they can. Probably not in 3.2 though. So
Just like
it's
the
one of-
weapons aren't in 3.2. Okay.
Exactly. But
Again,
it sounds
it
like they
sounded like-
will do it.
It sounds like they were looking for the weapons as well.
Yeah. Be able to have different lightsaber colors, for example, on different outfits.
The only thing I'd be afraid of is, obviously, you've said before that you can delete items at the minute, but obviously achievements have occasionally disappeared. If you delete your items, you can log in and find your outfits are gone and you've lost everything.
That's a good question. Well,
I'll be
we should
banking
just
for
have
now.
trust so we can get that kind of stuff back, but yeah. Now, this is not a gear changer, just to be clear. So your real gear, like if you wanted a PvP set and a PvE set, you will have to have them in your inventory and switch them manually. But remember, once your outfit is selected, your appearance will not change if you've got one of your outfits applied, which is very cool. Yeah, as far as the gear switcher goes, that's again the system that they're looking at. It would be something that they agree would be useful, that they have agreed in the past many times. Still, we don't have it yet. Yeah. So anyway, live on the PTS now, and you can actually try it out yourself and start planning your outfit. All right. Also, we're not done yet. They did talk about mount codes. That is, the new mounts that will be given away at community cantinas. These will only be obtainable at community cantinas. That is, they will give out a cantina pack to all attendees. These will include one code. But what about the rest of us, you may say? Well, they have an interesting answer to that. The way it's going to work is when you redeem your mount code that you got at a cantina, it will give you a link to 5 more codes, or a link that is basically 5 more of these codes, which you can send to your friends, or 5 of your friends. Each of them can then redeem that code or via that link, and each of them will also get 5 more codes to give away. So, in other words, and this just goes on forever. So, in other words, even though they are exclusive to cantinas, if you know anyone else who plays the game, chances are you will eventually get one. So,
Very
interesting
cool.
approach. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yes, they're exclusive to each cantina. It sounds like they're going to use the same speeder each time, but with different color variants. That's just what they implied. But yeah. So anyway, that's a neat idea. In those cantina packs I mentioned that will include the mount code, they will also be giving one other random item away.
What that means.
And yeah, they didn't actually elaborate. They will be live streaming the first hour of the community cantina that will be held at Star Wars Celebration, which is in mid-April. And that is via ESL, the esports league that we mentioned last time. They were going to be doing the time run coverage. So ESL streaming the first hour. There'll be a panel. There'll be special guests. The 501st will be there. So that would be awesome. And finally, for Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you, they will be giving away an M41S astromech droid to all players. And there may be some additional rewards as well. That doesn't seem to be subscriber only, so everyone will get that for Star Wars Day. And then Choose Your Path promotion ends at the end of March, but if you do follow it, if you're a former player, you'll get 7 days of game time for free.
Right.
And yeah, Game Update 3.2 is on the PTS. Now, from the patch notes, just a few other things that I just wanted to quickly mention. Firstly, the following mounts and vehicles are now adaptive and can be used at any speed of piloting rank, and their speed will increase depending on that rank. Now, the list is extensive, and I suspect is every single speeder in the game that isn't currently adaptive. And it's pointed out by Patrick and Mariachi. Chill's wish has come true. The Hiroti Scrapper, that's the smoking speeder that we got from the Grand Acquisitions race, has been made adaptive. So no longer limited to 90%.
Awesome. It can actually be used, finally. That's wonderful.
Your wish has come true.
I know.
And any
Now,
of the slower speeders.
Right, and of course it's on my previous main, but as it's been pointed out recently, the scrapper comes as something you can actually dig out of archaeological out of droid sites. You put your little, what's it called? I can't remember the name of that darn thing.
Seeker droid.
The seeker droid.
Right.
Thank you. Put their seeker droid out, and it's a rare drop from that. So even if you've changed mains like I have, I can hopefully get it on my new character. So can't wait.
Awesome. Alright. Now, one of the ones in the list was the Kurtob Alliance Speeder. Now, this one, people don't want to make it adaptive because it's the one you get as the Refer a Friend reward. And its thing was you could use it with Speeder Piloting 1 and it would go at 110% and have maximum knock-off protection. People are saying, "Oi, leave that one alone." 'Cause, yeah, I've still got characters I never got the advanced Speeder Piloting on back when we had to pay for it. Not a problem now because I didn't need to. I just kept using that one.
Right.
And with your leveling, it is fantastic. All right. Also, Guild Capital ships can now dock at Ziost, of course, as you would expect. Companion gifts and the related subcategories have been added as a searchable category on the Galactic Trade Network on the GTN, so no longer will they be
That is
sort of
cool.
popping up miscellaneous. Fantastic.
Yes.
Taking a while.
Yeah.
I bet you that'll actually help them sell too, especially the weird, level 3 ones, level 4 blue, greens
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Because they're pretty reasonably good at getting their happiness up, but they're so they're so not well known as far as their names go that you can't really search on it. So knowing that the searchable categories will be good.
Yeah.
I've got a legacy bank tab just completely full of them, so hopefully get rid of some of them then.
Awesome idea. All right, just a few new decos that have been added to the PvP items vendor. Are we still here? Hello.
Did I drop?
We all dropped. The
Hello.
whole thing kind of failed.
Yep. I can hear you guys.
Are we all back?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm back.
Looks
Yep,
good.
we're all here.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just see what everyone says in the chat room. I just want to make sure they can still see it. Chill, did you set up the stream by Twitch?
Yes, although I did not have a chance to actually go to Twitch and test it and make sure it was streaming okay. Maybe I'll do that now since we're
Okay,
home.
the guys... Yeah, no, they're saying it's back. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Glitch in the Matrix. It happens when they change something. All right, let's just keep rolling. Chill, do you just want to do that?
Yeah, I'm just checking the... Let's see. Bring this over so it's not blocking the stream anymore. Okay, it's working. I'll put that on pause and I'll just try to keep the chat open and should be ready to go.
All right, yep. And look, the guys are saying that Twitch was fine.
Good.
All right. All right, so where was I? We have some items added to the PvP vendor. I just included them. You can find them all on tour-decorating.com. Yeah, nothing there I'd get myself, but something else to spend your Warzone comms on. Though that McKeb canopy is kind of nice. That McKeb pod is weird. But, the Void Star Bomb, though, that's actually kind of win. That will bring back some bad memories. Also, all right, lastly, in Game Update 3.2, class balance, class balancing. Now, they did talk to us a bit about their philosophy here. So they're going to direct our focus on community feedback by being transparent with our update initiatives and outlining the definitions that outline these updates, etc. Three main pools of focus: quality of life, which is the flow and feel of gameplay for players. This will include improvements to rotations, ability performance, resource management, and the overall enjoyment of playing the class. That's one of them, quality of life. Second is utility,
Okay.
fast functionality, and the counterplay between other players and NPCs. Includes abilities to buffs, debuffs, defensive abilities, mobility, controlling abilities, and ability versatility. So quality of life, utility, and finally combat balance. This is the metric behind abilities and how they compare to other classes. Includes improvements to defense, healing, resource expense, critical hit, and DPS scores. So they will occasionally blend them, but they will basically focus on these are the elements they focus on when they're doing their class balancing.
Okay.
And then every time they, for a given like 3.2 or whatever, they will tell us what they're focusing on for which classes. So the three examples for 3.2, they're focusing on quality of life for Rage Juggernauts and Focus Guardians, so that's Smash Spec. And also Fury Marauders and Concentration Sentinels, so Smash basically. And they've added a bunch of changes. I won't go through them in detail again because these may change. Though it actually kind of looks cool. They're just removing a stacked effect. So rather than building up stacks of whatever, like Singularity for Focus Guardians, instead you just get the single. You get the effect, and you get the full effect of pretty much the 3 stacks. So no change, you just get it straight away. You don't have to build up the stacks to it, you just get it. So in effect, that is a buff, since there's no downtime building stacks.
Should be nice for PvPers, because you always want that burst, you always want things up front.
Yep, agreed. Next, they're going to improve the utility of lethality and ruffian, engineer and saboteur, and virulence, dirty fighting disciplines. So that's basically smugglers and imperial agents, affecting both scoundrels and gunslingers, operatives and snipers, and the specific disciplines are within. Again, it's kind of minor changes. Nothing too much. For example, for the ruffian scoundrel Shrap Bomb, what they did with that was, what it used to do is it would only snare people, slow them for 30 seconds. So it would reduce their movement speed, slow them for about for 6 seconds, and the slow is 30%. What they're changing it to do is for the full duration of the effect, so 24 seconds. So that's actually quite an increase in the utility of that. 6 seconds up to 24 seconds, 30% slow. Cleansable, obviously, but that's kind of nice.
It's a long time, yeah.
Yeah. And a few other changes as well. And finally, they're improving the quality of life of Pyrotechs and Plasmatechs, which are Vanguards and Powertechs. And this seemed to be... it's a bit unclear. It looked like a little bit of a nerf to damage, though I guess it may actually work out the same overall. Bit unclear. So I have to play out and see. We'll do all the numbers and just find out whether it's a buff or a nerf. It's supposed to be quality of life, so it really shouldn't affect it that much in terms of damage output. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention. This is something that we played through the Macro, Binocular, and Seeker Droid quest chains this last week. And one thing she saw that is in the concluding conversation on Drone and Cuss for the Seeker Droid mission line on the Empire side, Darth, whoever it is, someone on the Dark Council, says, Arcanum facility is compromised, but I found a suitable new hiding place for the seeds. That's the Seeds of Rage on Ziost. Immediately. So whether that'll actually go anywhere or was just kind of a side mention which we'll never hear about again, whether the Emperor will actually get his hands on the seeds and do something with them, or that's why the Emperor went there who knows?
Right. That could certainly become, part of a boss battle in some operation in the future.
Indeed. Oh, I should also mention 3.2. There are rumors, unconfirmed, that there is a lair boss that is in an instance area. There will be an operation boss, maybe. So not guaranteed or confirmed yet.
Okay.
There's also rumors of a new war zone. So PvPers, do not despair. It may only be a arena though, a new arena map on Rishi. Anyway. Alright, that's Game Update 3.2 and the live stream. You can still watch the live stream on Twitch. And it's kind of cool. I've got to say, Bruce, Michael, and Eric were extremely enthusiastic. It was a good presentation. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I've watched it a couple of times now, and yeah, it's good.
Really looking
All
forward
right.
to the Anaheim Cantina broadcast because of that.
Oh, yeah, Star Wars Celebration. There's going to be all kinds of cool stuff there, including probably the new trailer for Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the actual proper trailer.
Hmm.
That would be awesome. Also, and this was next in the news I wanted to cover, outside of SWTOR, Star Wars Battlefront. It appears it will, as we alluded to last week, it will debut. It will debut at Star Wars Celebration. So we'll actually be able to see the gameplay for the first time to the public. This was actually published on StarWars.ea.com, so it is official. They say it's been a long time ago in an E3 press conference far, far away. Yeah. Anyway, since we announced they're working on Star Wars Battlefront, and yeah, you will see it at Star Wars Celebration. Mid-April, which is not that far away. I might skip the toys because we're running a bit long. And finally in the news, I did want to draw everyone's attention to a fan-created video. It's actually in the style of 1980s anime. And it's a kind of Empire-focused, from the Empire's point of view, battle. It's called TIE Fighter. It is kind of like the TIE Fighter game. And it's on YouTube, clips about 8 minutes or so long. Yeah, from the Empire's point of view, you see a whole lot of stuff from Star Destroyers, Imperial pilots getting into TIE Fighters and then attacking a rebel convoy. I had to keep pausing it to read the aura badge that's scattered throughout, which is all accurate, by the way, and all nicely done. It's excellent. Really good. And if you want to see the bad guys win, at least this time, yeah. So I'll link to that. It is on YouTube. Yeah, very, very nicely done. Another wonderful fan-created work. All right. Now let's just move on to community news. Firstly, our friends at Tor Community have started a Kickstarter project. Now, the reason for that is, as we've mentioned in prior shows, Torhead and Ask Mr. Robot have both gone away. Now, Torhead provided a item database for missions and everything, and Ask Mr. Robot had their character designer. So what they're hoping to do with the Kickstarter project is fund the development of the equivalent services on torcommunity.com. Now, they've got a whole bunch of very creative people involved, including Swirtle Miner and Swirtle Potato from Reddit and others. And yeah, they're hoping to, well, I asked Hayward about it, who runs Tor Community, or he's the lead there, and he did want to draw our attention to the fact that tooltips are being made available, as in the item tooltips, so you can include them on your blogs or your own websites or whatever. That should be done within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and an items database is their top priority. So, yes, Torhead is going away or gone, but this is coming up. The community is coming to the party, and we'll have, basically the community will create its own. So this will not be dependent on some commercial entity, it will just be ours. So yeah,
Very
well
cool.
done guys. If you want to contribute, you can back them on Kickstarter. They've already shot way past their $1,000, their original goal. They're up to over $3,000 now. There's various stretch goals and pledged things that you can get at the various levels. So yeah, check it out, and if you support what they're doing, give them money.
I'm guessing with the likes of Miner and Potato on board that they can probably do a much better job than Torhead did.
Exactly. And these are people invested in the community rather than people sort of adding it on the side. So, yeah. I expect great things. Great things. There's all kinds of initiatives, all kinds of people, including Andrew from SWTOR Economics, who was on last week. He has also got involved with them to do something.
Yeah, that sounds pretty expansive, that does.
It does. Have you thought of sort of getting in bed with them, Mr. Olip, with SWTOR Network?
Not particularly. At the moment, they've got a lot of tools and stuff. They've not got that much in the way of articles, and I've not really done much in the way of tools, so not seen much opportunity at the minute. But we'll see how things go.
Yeah, it might be a good together, the various sites like yours, talkcommunity.com, there's Dolphy out there, of course. It's all just providing resources for the community. It's all good. All right, just also in the community, I wanted to mention our own SWTOR leaderboards. Our leaderboards page on OotiniCast.com. I have updated it to include the 3-tier rewards, the bronze, silver, and gold rewards. You can now see them as the default graph on our site. And
Nice.
now, even though these show the current rating, not the final rating by which the various tiers will be determined, the percentages are a little bit interesting. So, solo, this is from a sample of there's 18,700 players participated so far. The 10.8% will get nothing based on the current rating. About 80% will get bronze, 7% will get silver, 2% will get gold. For group rank PvP, 5.5% will get nothing. 85% will get bronze, about 8.6% will get silver, and 1.2% will get gold, the gold rewards.
Right.
So obviously that will change, and that is only
Indeed.
the current rating. So
Yeah, exactly. It's based on highest rating overall, correct? During
highest
the
rating
season,
achieved.
so- yeah, that number definitely almost has to go up over the course of the season, just mathematically, because of that fact. Awesome. All right. It's also
And
good to know that they do have a reasonably substantial nothing. So if people are just going in and bombing 10 and hoping they'll get something out of it, they won't.
Yep.
So it's about 10%, 5 or 10% seems about right.
agreed. All right. Lastly, in the community, Sevic of Beggar and Colony has provided our Utini Rage clips for the last 3 shows. We've got his last one this week, and it's called Droid. You'll hear that at the end of the show.
I like the last
And
one.
that's the news.
All
Now,
right.
Chill.
Mm-hmm.
How we're going to handle this is... What is the easiest way? Let's go back and do the intro, because we really need to hear from Ollie and Alex. Because
Yes.
we haven't actually really heard much from them yet, because I've just been talking through the news. So let's do that, and then we'll do the feedback, then call it good.
All right. Give me a moment, and I'll start us from the beginning. Nothing like a bridge closer to make you late. Okay. Just need about 5 seconds here. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. There is no war here, unless you've brought it with you. This is episode 197, being recorded on a Wednesday, March 25th, 2015. I'm your host, Chill, along with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
And a happy birthday tomorrow to you.
Thank you.
All right. We have 2 new guests for you this week. We've got Alex and Olib. And Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name, of course, is Alex, and I'm only 14 years old, but I'm a very active member of the SWTOR community. I try and play as much as I can, and I don't know, I just try and stream it a bit on my Twitch account. And I also host a podcast of my own, not a SWTOR podcast, but more of just an all-around nerdy podcast, which is
Cool. What's that
kind of
called?
fun.
And what's it
called Geek, but it's called Geek.
Okay.
You can find it on www.geek-podcast.com, and that's That's my podcast.
Awesome.
Give that a listen.
Have you
is
played
fun.
SWOTOR since launch, or when did you come into SWOTOR?
I didn't play since launch, but I got in about 2 years ago when I noticed it had gone free. I was like, oh, well, now I can do it. And so I played with my friends, but my friends started to lose interest. But because I love Star Wars, I grew up with Star Wars. I just stayed on it, and then I took a break for a while. I came back about last year when there was a double XP week, and I finally finished my first class with the Trooper, and I decided to buy Rise of the Hutt Cartel and keep going, start some new classes. And then when Shadow of Revan was, announced, and I pre-ordered it immediately, and then I also subscribed then, and then I got the 12 times XP. Went up with most of my characters. Then I only have 8 characters. 4 of them are 55 plus. The rest are kind of low level because my friends want to play with me, but they never play with me. So I'm always tempted to play them. I'm always tempted to play them without them, but they say no, wait for us.
That's how it'll happen. Now you're the first of our sort of fan guests. We opened up the possibility of just fans of the show who have a mic and maybe have a little bit of recording experience coming on the show, and obviously with your podcast experience you do. So tell us a little bit about your experience as a gamer. I understand you have some stories about being like a teenage SWTOR player.
Yeah, so when I eventually joined a guild and some guys wanted to go do Eternity Vault with me, and I was like, okay, I'll join. And when I joined their TeamSpeak, they're like, wait, you're 14? How on earth are you like this? Like, how do you make time for this? And it's really hard for me to make time for it because I've got school and stuff, and
Right.
I try to get as much game time as I can, but I fall behind. I'm only in full 186s on 2 of my characters now, and Shadow of Revan has been out for how long now? I know, but
Almost 1
yeah,
month, yeah.
Not that
and
long.
also I've been kicked out of Flashpoints because of my age, and like, well, if you're that young, you don't have as much experience as us, so yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of
That is
unfortunate.
weird, yeah. Personally, I always give folks a chance. To me, it's more about results than age, but it
Shouldn't matter.
it's kind of a bummer that happens. Would you say it's a regular occurrence, or is it just sort of like something that happens, but it's really ugly when it does?
Well, it doesn't happen all the time. I can join a Flashpoint and I'll be fine. But if I do an operation and I'm definitely using TeamSpeak, people notice that. But sometimes I'm lucky and I get surprised and I'm like, wow, you're 14? Dude, you're doing a great job. I'm like, yes.
So unfortunately, that also means the bar is set a little low.
Yeah.
So if you're like doing average, they think you're doing great. But
Yeah.
but I'm sure I'm sure you're doing just fine. What are your favorite classes to play?
I've played Trooper since I started playing SWTOR. I've been a healer the whole time, but I'm starting to drift away from the Trooper and move more towards my Sentinel and Marauder. Gosh, I hate saying that name.
Yeah.
But I'm streaming my Sith Warrior now on Twitch. I'm trying to get him through Shadow of Revan because why not? And it's kind of fun. I just started streaming, so I don't have viewers usually. I've had 1 or 2, but still fun to stream.
Do you like tweet out when you start your stream up?
Yeah, I do, but another unfortunate thing is I don't have that many Twitter followers, and also because of where I live in the world, everyone's probably asleep.
Well, first, let's get to both of those. So what's your Twitter account? Maybe we can get you a few more followers.
Oh, my Twitter account is at MixUpPixels. That's MixUppixels.
All right, perfect gamer name there. And where exactly do you game from?
You mean the country?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
That's okay.
It's fine. I game in Singapore because
That is
I live
cool. Have you lived in Singapore all your life?
No, I've lived in many different countries, all around. Only in Asia, even though I'm not from Asia. I've lived in Asia my entire life, and it's fun.
That
But
is cool.
sometimes when I go to other countries in Asia, I find it hard to try and play my games because sometimes the Wi-Fi isn't great, and
Right.
it's just really hard to play SWTOR with bad Wi-Fi.
I'm sure it is.
Is the internet in Singapore as amazing as we've heard?
It is. I'm glad
So
it
jealous.
is.
That is way cool. And so you must use West Coast servers then?
I think yeah. Well, I don't know where Bajarian Colony is because I didn't really check. I just saw okay.
Ah.
I don't want to get into PvP because that sounds hard, and I'm not big on PvE. So let's go with a role-playing server just to get me started. So I just found the first one and clicked it.
Yeah, Beggar in a Colony is West Coast. Yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
you're right. Best choice.
Did you have a chance to try out the Oceanic servers?
No, I haven't actually. I should probably do that to see if I can
Well,
get.
they're gone now.
Nah.
But
Yeah.
Ah,
It would have been good, but
did you? Yeah.
yeah, sadly.
Sadly, exactly. All right, that is very cool though. So again, it's called Geek Podcast. Is that right?
Geek Podcast. Yep.
And cool. And it's Mix Up Pixels for your
Yes.
Twitter account. Very cool. All right, Alex.
I think you follow
Thanks.
me.
We'll include all those links in the show notes, of course.
Right.
Cool.
And our other guest is Olib from SWTOR Network. So, Olib, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about SWTOR Network?
Hi. So yeah, I'm Olib. I started playing the game at launch, but ended up leaving probably about 6 months later because I was in a guild that I'd been in for years. The entire guild left, and I was left a little bit lonely at that point. And MMOs aren't always great on your own.
Right.
Came back once or twice, I think, around the time free-to-play launched, but didn't really stick into it. But last year I decided to make a concerted effort to stick in the game. So I joined a guild, had another guild, started getting to know people. And also I started SWTOR Network a couple of months later, just because I originally started listening to your podcast, and then realized there were loads of other podcasts, loads of other blogs, and it was really hard to try and keep up with all the content that was basically being made. So I just made a website to try and share everything, to try and be like one centralized place that could link out to stuff.
I think it does a good job of that. I mean, it's definitely sort of a headline site where everything important that comes through for the SWTOR community seems to pop up there. I like
when
it.
I have time to post.
Well, yeah. These things don't happen by themselves. I'm sure Tio
Unfortunately not.
could go on on that subject for a while.
Indeed. You're in the UK, Ollie?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm trying to branch out a little bit with the site now, trying to make some more, basically more kind of column style posts myself. Kind of get a few more interesting posts put together. I spoke to Tio a couple of weeks ago about getting questions put together for Eric Musco. I sent them over, so I'm waiting to hear back on that. I think it's going to be another couple of weeks, he said. So once
that
it's
should be
back, it should be really
fantastic.
interesting.
Yeah.
So that's about
those are-
kind of how they use analytics and statistics to make
It's a great idea.
game
the right
design,
sort,
design
yeah.
decisions.
That's
Nice
beautiful.
one, Ollie.
Yeah, I hope they can answer that.
Yeah, well, they passed it over to apparently their analytics team. They seem to be quite excited about answering them, so hopefully get some good answers back.
That is awesome. And when you're in SWTOR, you must be playing then on the EU servers.
Yeah, I play on Red Eclipse. Play a Juggernaut as my mainly PvP. I don't have that much time between obviously work, life, and running a site as well. But I get in a good few hours a week.
So
And mainly
PvP
they
lets
just
you just
using-
jump in, do some
Yeah,
stuff, and
exactly.
get out. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I keep trying ranked, but it just ends up with me waiting in a queue and getting a bit bored, and then just queuing for regulars instead. So
It's
I'm one of
amazing
the
how
people
much
praying
work
across
doing
stuff.
community. It's amazing how much time doing stuff in the community you can actually take away from your gameplay.
Oh, a huge amount.
It's ironic.
Especially on days like last Friday when I was like, okay, I can play SWTOR tonight. But no, it got a live stream, loads of news, PTS
Yep.
going straight up, and that's the entire evening gone. But it's worth it. It's a good community.
Yeah, it is.
And what are your future plans for SWTOR Network?
Well, it's like I said, really, want to try and get a lot more unique posts and kind of column style posts. So something a little bit along the lines of, I guess, Blizzard Watch. And I don't want to say that I'm anywhere near that level, but just kind of that style of content. I've toyed with the idea of seeing if anybody else wants to contribute as well. I've never got around to actually asking anybody. So if anybody did want to, want to talk about writing columns or anything like that, I'd be open to the opportunity.
Cool.
I love your site. I use it all the time. It's great.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Cool. All right. So now that we've gotten the basics, Alex, what'd you do this week in SWTOR?
Basically, as I mentioned earlier, I started streaming my Sith Warrior, and that's been fun. I've never done Forged Alliances on the Empire side, so it's new, I guess, even though that's months old content. But
Sure.
you know, at least I'm getting there. I also did Bounty Contract Week because that was last week. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even maxed that out because I don't know why. I have the time. It's old.
I have
You're
a hard
not
time.
the only
Speaking
one.
of getting old.
Yeah, I have a hard time with
yeah.
dailies myself, and it's nothing to do with SWTOR. It's just I've always had troubles buckling down and doing dailies over and over again.
Yeah.
Especially Bounty Contract. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
Olub, how
I
about
did
your
do-
week? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
It's fine. I also did a lot of dailies on Yavin 4 because I'm running out of credits, so I need to find out how to make credits better.
Do you have a slicer? Are you slicing all the slicing boxes on Yavin 4 while you're there?
I'm not a slicer. I'm a scavenger on my trooper, so I'm getting all the scavenging though. I have around 500 scavenging stuff.
Yeah.
Medals. It's easy.
Very good. It is. It's crazy
Yeah.
how much stuff there is.
There's a bunch of droids on the middle part of Yavin, so it's not too bad.
Oh, and that village near the left-hand part of the map is
The
just,
Mustasi village, yeah.
Right.
You can
It's
just loot that and.
loaded with scrap, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's like apparently they set up camp on a junkyard. All right, Olub, how about your week?
Mainly PvP. I've switched my Juggernaut over to Immortal spec to change it up a bit. So it's quite fun getting to defend people in PvP. I managed to hop into a few matches with Snave the other day, so that was pretty fun.
Oh wow.
While he was streaming, getting a few wins in there. Also been leveling up a Merc very, very slowly, which I intend to heal with. And I've never healed with this in this game at all, so I'm going to get torn apart, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah, well, Merc healing is fun. I did try that out myself recently, and it's a really good healing spec. So yeah, it's quite viable. Let's put it that way. I'm
I
not
know
sure about
Zamzam's recently put a guide together as well, so I'll be reading that for some tips.
Yeah, are you leveling largely through PvP and then just a bit of like class story or whatever?
Not really, because it was 55 already from 12 times XP. Then I've just been doing a little bit of the Forged Alliances and Rishi story here and there. I've done a couple of matches of PvP, but I'm 59.5 now and feel like I might as well just finish the story.
Yeah, absolutely at that point. All right, awesome. Tio, how about your week?
Well, I'll start with last week I did mention that both actually me and Bill both had an issue with our progress through Forged Alliances. We're doing part 1, we were about halfway through, and our progress got reset. Now, what I should have realized was that this was due to the deployment of the patch, where they actually did say they were going to reset progress of part 1 and part 2 because they were changing its level range so it was doable at 55 or something. Whenever they changed it to something or other. And anyway, that's why it reset, which means that we can no longer. We lost the acknowledgement that we had finished one of the flashpoints, one of the tacticals, and now we got to do it again, and we can't do it with the Jesus droid. Have to do it with someone else.
Still,
there's
can't
no way
see.
around that, and
Okay.
you kind of screwed.
Have to buckle down and do it as a group.
Yeah, might have to use a group finder. Oh no.
Right. Well, if you do it when I'm on, just let me know.
Sure. Yeah, or
Jump
Harry
on.
will run me
Glad
through
to
it
do
or
it
something.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, it should be fine. Just got to do it. Let's see, rating with our group. We did full clears of story mode Ravages and Temple of Sacrifice, all very easy at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure we one-shot Underlurker. In fact, let's just stick with that, and even if we didn't,
That's
just
our
pretend we
story.
did.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty sure we did. I'm not sure if everyone survived, but I'm pretty sure we did.
Right.
And then we did hard mode Malifire and Sparky. Yes, we do have them on farm now. It's actually quite easy once you get the strat right. And we're still trying on hard mode Bulo.
Yeah.
Now, I did help out the Random Riders on Monday. That's the Aussie raid group, and they went straight to, because they'd already cleared Malifire on hard mode. They were doing hard mode Sword Squadron, the two walkers in Temple of Sacrifice for the first time. So I was tanking on that on my power tech, and
Did they get it?
yeah, it's pretty hard.
Nice.
It's pretty hard. It's pretty similar in difficulty to Bulo. Both fights are healing intensive. The mechanics are actually very simple. The only addition is that occasionally the entire group will be sucked into the middle, except for the tank on Walker 1. They'll be sucked into the middle, and everyone will get these expanding circles, which if they happen to overlap another player by the time they finish expanding, I think they die or something. It's bad.
Right.
So you've got to all have your predetermined places to all run away from, which is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, aside from that, mechanics are similar. So,
Okay. That sounds reasonably doable.
yeah, I'm thinking our group will probably try that next. Bulo is just a pain in the ass.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I don't know what the breakthrough there is going to be, but we can just persevere. And finally, Ari and I ran through the Seeker Droid and Macro Binocular quest lines just from start to finish on the Empire side. Well, the only thing we haven't done is the conclusion of the Macro Binocular stuff, that final mission on Nar Shaddaa, which requires 4 players. Everything else you can do with 1 or 2 people, and it is so much easier having 2 people, because you can each go to different locations on a given planet and get the macro locations, and just one person digs up the Seeker Age, and both people get it. So yeah, it was actually really good to get through that. It's good stuff. There's some good storytelling in there, so if you've never done it, it is worth doing it. There's not a lot of difference between the Republic and the Empire side, except at the beginning. The first mission, or the first bit where you have to explore an area for the macro, is fantastic. It's a really good puzzle, and I think it's better on the Empire side, far better on the Empire side than the Republic.
Yeah,
So.
they're both kind of fun, yeah. But tricky, and tricky is the way to describe it. Surprisingly tricky, given that it's pretty basic in terms of its actual mechanics. They did a good job.
They did. Now, my only mistake was using my assassin, who I'd leveled through PvP, so he didn't have any of the flight points on any of the planets. And of course, this was before the change in 3.2.
Right before the change, yep.
Yeah. So, anyway, you may want to just wait until that happens if you haven't have a character you haven't leveled the old-fashioned way. But yeah, so that was fun. Anyway, that's my week. Over to you, Chill.
All right. Well, the rating that we did geared out my gunslinger, which was awesome. So, made sure I had the right accuracy and all the augments and all that good stuff. So what I did is I took her back to the ship and tried out the different specs. I retried the sharpshooter just to see if, with higher gear and fully accurate and so on, if it was going to change the damage compared to the Dirty Tricks tree. But it was really equivalent, so overall between those two I would stick with Dirty Tricks, the dot spec, just because it's a little more mobile, doesn't require all the hard casting. So I also tried the middle tree, so all the bombs and everything, but something about it I was not clicking with me. I just could not get its damage up close to the other trees. I assume it's actually my fault. I assume there's something I'm missing in the rotation or doing in the wrong order or something, but it was several hundred lower. It seemed like it would be pretty mobile too, though, so if I could get it to work, then it does seem like it would be quite viable in terms of keeping myself mobile. So right now I'm just sticking with the dot tree because, like I said, the damage was equivalent to sharpshooter, and I feel like it's more mobile. And I also took her out to Oricon and did the quest chain and dailies for the first time on her. It was actually pretty fun, and also it's a weird psychological thing. You go on the fleet, and then you click on the thing that'll take you to all the different places, your ship and Yavin and Rishi and all these other daily places. And Oricon was grayed out, and I could not handle that, so I had to go and do that. So, and also
You
just
can handle it if you try, Chill.
I'm sure I could, but it was really annoying. So I went and did the Oricon quest chain and the dailies, all of those for practice and fun. And you can turns out at level 60 with good gear, you can easily solo the Heroic 2 area. It's really not that hard at all. And I imagine if I had a little worse gear, I would still be able to hack it if I just like use the Heroic Moment occasionally, stuff like that. It's really not that bad at all. It was almost not soloable at level 55. My raid geared tank could barely do it, but at level 60 it's pretty easy even on a squishy gunslinger. So that was pretty cool. Also, I noticed for whatever reason the gear that it gives you during that quest chain is actually bind on equip, not legacy, not
It is
you know,
specific
not
to
bind on
you,
pickup.
but yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Didn't notice it the other times I've been through there. So, but yeah, so basically it was all just working on my gunslinger and trying to make sure I had the right spec and everything. So, yeah, it was fun though. That will bring us to the tip of the week, and we have a couple of tips this week. And Tio,
Stop.
let me know, yes, what the hell I'm doing next.
All right. What you're doing next is actually why don't you announce the winner, and the winner is Evelon. So just run through all that and then introduce the news.
Okay. And Ivalon is the pronunciation we're going with?
Or however you want it, mate. However you want it.
I can't just call him HK Chubbs?
If you like. Either way.
All right. And by random allotment, the winner is Ivalon, aka HK Chubbs. So congratulations, you're the winner of an M8R3 Droid pet code, or a Tonfon code if you prefer, courtesy of BioWare, and an OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. If you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Tuesday. And that will bring us to the holo feed. Tio?
Okay. How the hell am I going to tie this together? I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is I've got that wording is in my head. I can pretty much rattle it off now.
That's perfect. So I will be able to stitch that together. So that's fine. All right. Force feedback, and then we close.
Okay. Find that. Community, there it is. It's on page 30.
Yep. So start with force feedback, and
Yep, I'll do that. And that will bring us to the force feedback, where we read out your tweets and emails. And chat room, if you have any questions to ask, we'll be gathering them now to answer once we're done with the feedback. First tweet is from CFL1. The Ricotta change wasn't to the bottom of the stairs boss, but to the bonus boss. You could hide behind a vase inside his chamber to avoid the storm without spawning any ads. And I had thought it was an intentional wrinkle.
Now he's talking of the Ricotta of the legacy of the Ricotta flashpoint, the tactical now hard mode that is on Ricotta Prime, and yeah, so we got that wrong. It wasn't the boss on the big field. It was, as you said, the bonus boss. Yeah, I thought that vase was just the way you're supposed to do it. So instead, what you got to do is run out in line of sight. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Turg wrote, I thought the Terror from Beyond fix was to prevent people from infinitely farming ads for credits. Now I assume ads eventually stop regardless of the cores.
That's the trash in Terror from Beyond. He could be right. I don't know how much credits you would actually get from that.
Right. Well, you'd be able to reverse engineer them as well. Yeah, it would add up. It would add up.
Yeah, it would.
Even if it is, previous level stuff. Let's see. And Chong wrote, last week's episode with Bill and Andrew made me feel smarter for listening.
Economists rejoice.
Yeah, they both have that sort of effect on me too. Let's see. Spencer wrote, I finally got my sweet shirt and it is awesome. I can't wait to get an Utini Rage t-shirt. Spencer's showing off his Houtini Nights T-shirt. It does look good on him.
Yeah, it does.
So
And
you did end up getting a different supplier basically than Tio.
we actually sent them directly. It was
Oh,
more
okay.
expensive, but we just messed around for far too long. And that I assume those 6 shirts that went missing, they're still out there
missing.
somewhere.
If they
Yep.
show up, I'll let you know. But it'd be
Yeah.
crazy if they went this long.
So never send anything via UPS. Is the bottom line here.
Okay.
As far as the Utini Raid shirts goes, and more Utini Night shirts, we are still deciding what to do.
Okay.
We've been a little distracted of late with upcoming babies and things. So.
Yes. Understandable. Yeah. And house changing and all that good stuff.
Indeed.
All right. I never know how to pronounce this one. It's either Megan or Megan.
Megan.
It's what?
Megan.
Megan. This one? Okay. Because it can be either way. So,
She
yeah,
corrected
Megan.
us.
Right. Megan wrote, putting your UI settings in the PTS. I finally figured out how to do it using this forum link. And then the link will be in the show notes.
Indeed. So this is so that you have your various UI setups using the Creator Using Interface Editor. You create them on live. You can actually copy them across to the PTS. Now, the way you do this is all your UI settings can be found in a folder under your user account. So this isn't under where you install SWOTOR. This is under your user account.
Right.
In the app data folder, which is hidden by default, and that thread will show you what you have to do to unlock it. It's one of the first things I do when I install Windows is make sure I can see every folder because I don't want any hidden folders. But yeah, you do have to do that so you can see your app data folder. In there, you will find your SWOTOR, SWTOR folder, and you'll find in there another SWOTOR folder under settings is the GUI profiles. What you do is copy everything GUI profiles over to the similar GUI profiles under public test. So it's like a parallel setup for the PTS.
Yes.
You just copy them across, and then all of the ones you
Right.
set up are right there waiting for you when you log in.
Yeah. Yep. Essentially, when you're doing the public test realm, you're essentially creating a whole new SWOTOR, but it's a public test one, so it's got its own settings. Unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately, but yeah,
No.
it's good. It's good to know how to switch it over because the UI is you get reliant on it. It's hard to do
You
without
do
it.
indeed. Yeah. And I should mention that I was actually running out of space. I've only got a 128 gig SSD. So what I did was reinstalled SWOTOR without the... actually, I installed SWOTOR with the PTS on just my hard drive.
Ah,
And then in my SSD version of it, I deleted all the PTS files. So anything with _test in it, you can actually just delete those files and it will work just fine without the PTS. And that effectively halves the size of the installation. Because SWOTOR now is pushing 27 gig. And with the PTS as well, you're over 50. So,
wow,
yeah.
that's a lot of
If you're
stuff.
limited in space, yeah,
It's a big galaxy, that's for sure.
it is. It is.
Cole wrote in, crossguard saber anyone? He has a screenshot of what appears to be a crossguard, but I'm pretty sure it's actually like an effect. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. It is an effect, and yeah, he's right. It does look like the new crossguard. Saber being wielded by what's the guy's name?
Kylo
Someone
Ren.
Kylo Ren.
It's Kylo Ren.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Adam Driver might
Adam
be
Driver.
playing him. I don't know.
Yes.
Although he has it on the two-handed, shadow style. And I
Yeah.
imagine it's not quite as useful to have crossguards on a staff, saber staff.
It's pretty much as useful as having it on just a regular one, I suspect. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it works in practice.
Right. Let's see. Fredius wrote, the RNG or RN-GRE gods went on full purple parallel last night, granting me the Helix Hyperpod by 1 point. And he has a screenshot
Well
of a
done.
very cool mount.
That is a cool mount.
And it's got to be pretty dang rare, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's still got his old I like how he still has his old style smuggler hat. You know, the cowboy hat kind of looking one. That's awesome.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, and Tio, it looks like
That's
there's no
it.
Sarlacc Digest this
Yep.
this week. It looks like there was plenty of news though, so I'm sure this episode will be plenty hard enough to edit as it is. So that so that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our Guild on the Empire side, do a /c join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then ask for the quiz that lets us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to utinicast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @utinicast. You can find contact details for all of us on our website, utinicast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, hopefully. Go to utinicast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is from Mevio's Music Alley. Check it out at music.mevio.com. That's MEVIO. And thank you to the chat room, and thank you, Alex and Oleg.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. And we'll see you next week.
Alright guys, keep recording. Just leave Audacity running for a second. We'll just do something after the cameras have stopped rolling, so to speak. Thank you everyone for joining us. I guess, yeah, we should
do have one question
apologize.
we could- yeah, and we do have one question we could ask Alex here.
Okay,
Question to the
actually do that.
GMT
And
here. Sorry, one more editing bit, of course. Question to the GM8er. That would be you, Alex. Have you been able to play much on US primetime, and what do you think about the GM8 primetime versus US primetime? You did mention that there's not a lot of people playing when you play.
Yeah, it's kind of lonely.
I feel your pain. When I first started playing WoW way back in the day, I had a night shift gig, and yeah, it was pretty dead. It was basically solo mode. So yeah, do you find yourself just basically playing a lot of solo mode? Are you even in a guild?
I am in a guild at the moment, but usually when I log in, there's maybe 3-4 people on, and but when it's even worse when I try to PvP on a mercenary I'm trying to level right now. The queues take forever sometimes. It's terrible
Right.
because that's no comms.
Yeah, and you can kind of go by yourself for quite a while. I find that at some point, though, you really need to have that sort of social aspect. Things I would suggest are, find the biggest guild you can, or, find online friends who game around the same time you are and figure out ways to communicate with them.
even hop servers.
Yeah,
Oh,
potentially.
yeah, not the Batian, but there's always a Harbinger, which is probably one of the heaviest populated.
Right, and it's definitely US West, so that'd be one of the better ones for lag.
Nah.
For you.
Hmm.
All right.
Maybe I should find a character transfer.
Yeah, that's hard fit to swallow, but
Yeah.
all right, thanks.
All right. Yeah, keep recording. Guys, thank you for joining us. We should be back next week at the usual time. I don't think there's anything that will change that. Our guest next week, let's see, Kuze and Brian Casey, someone new. So, yeah. Yeah, we'll see you next week. Stopping the broadcast.